living full-time in our caravan. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? Well, it is. That's our dream, and we're going to make it happen come October this year. So let the journey begin. There's a lot of preparation works to make it happen so that we can get out there and live a decent lifestyle. So why are we going to go and live in a caravan? Well, for us, we've just had enough of city life, the day-to-day, working 9 to 5, living to work just to pay rent and to get by. With the cost of living these days, everything is just getting out of control. We're only renting the house where we are. Prices keep going up and up and up, and it's just spiraling out of control in the wrong direction. So for us, we're going to live in our caravan wherever it takes us around Australia. But no, we're not just going to rip off and do the lap around Australia and say, beauty mate, we've been there and done that. Our plan is just to live in our caravan and take it easy, live a stress-free life, living a lot cheaper, and just going with the flow. Take it every day as it comes and enjoy it. Get to see some fantastic destinations, get to go fishing when we want, get to go prospecting, sit around a fire whenever we like. Yes, it's going to have a lot of challenges, we realise that, and we're asking for help. If there's experienced people out there that's got any tips or tricks or any advice and experience from how you've gone about it or things that you've seen or heard, let us know in the comments, because we're always open to suggestions to make life that bit easier in what is going to be a massive job to prepare in 4 months to make this life on the road happen, living in our caravan. Can't wait for that day. So tag along for the journey. There's a lot to do, and we're just going to touch on a few things, how we're preparing to get on the road. And if that helps one person in some way or another, well, beauty. But we're just going to share our story, and hopefully you can tag along for the adventure of packing up our lives and making this our lifestyle of living in our caravan full time, traveling indefinitely on the road wherever it takes us. We'll be quite happy just to poke around Queensland, southwest Queensland, for the first 6-12 months. We'll see where we end up. We could end up in North Queensland, we could end up in Tasmania, who knows. So we'll go and jump inside. I'll just run through a few things of how we're going about preparing to make this happen. I'm excited, but at the same time it is overwhelming. You do get nervous, you think of the financials, everything else, your personal life. There's no packing up and coming home if the weather's bad. This will be our home. There's no packing up and coming back to bricks and mortar if the weather turns bad, things don't work out, you have a breakdown. We're going to have to learn to deal with that on the move. Oh, welcome to our house on wheels. This is going to be us indefinitely, and it's very exciting. It's nerve-wracking, it's overwhelming, it's a little bit emotional at times, thinking you're going to pack up your life, and this is going to be our new life and make it our lifestyle. To just be out there stress-free and enjoy what life throws at us. We'll make it what it is every day. We'll make the good of the bad. We'll make the good even better and just take it all in. But there's a lot to go through to make it all happen. So a few things that we've already been discussing, going through over the last 2 years. This has been a long time in the making. A lot of plans are starting to go into place and action's starting to happen to make it happen. It's not just spur of the moment thing, think 3 months time we're going to pack up and go. Good on you if you can do that, but travelling and living full time in a caravan takes a fair bit of forethought and a lot of planning to make sure you can do it successfully. Not just financially, but everything else as well. Like I've touched on in a lot of our other videos, you got to have water, you got to have power, all those things that you need to be able to live and live comfortably. Being set up for off-grid living. We don't do caravan parks. We probably will occasionally if we have to do washing or we need power or the weather's that bad that we need to bunker down somewhere. But we're planning on free camping as much as we possibly can to keep the costs down and just enjoying those out of the way spots. We don't like crowded campgrounds and that type of thing, so we'll be getting out there and getting away from all of it and trying to do it on a very, very tight budget. So starting at the start, we are renting the house. As I said before, we're renting off a real estate agent, costing us a fortune every week. So we do need to pack that up in 4 months. The end of September our lease expires, so we've got to notify the real estate that the lease is going to be up for renewal very shortly. Notify them so that they can put other tenants in the house. That'll all be happening at the same time we're packing up our life, putting a few little things that we're going to keep into storage. So we're not planning on keeping a real lot. We're going to sell or get rid of a lot of our stuff. Been in this house for 6 years. and most people know how much stuff you accumulate in 6 years. It's just ridiculous. Stuff that hasn't been used in 6 years I've still got because it's got a bit of sentimental value, and Mandy's the same. There's going to be stuff that we can't throw out and we will put into storage or keep at Dad's place or my brother's place or something, because that gets into the financial side of it as well, which we'll touch on shortly. But getting everything's in order here with the house and moving into the caravan, probably the full month of September will just be the main phase of that as we pack up the house and move into the caravan. House clean, carpet clean, all of that, full bond clean, everything to get out and then hit the road. And that's when it's really gonna hit home that this is our home and living in our van full time. It's exciting, and I'd say that first week or two will come as a bit of a shock. It'll be a bit like a holiday and a camping trip, but taking time to adjust and getting used to that lifestyle, that this is your home. I think a lot of people out there, and I've heard others say it before, that it's not a holiday. Yeah, it might be when the weather's good and you're at those idyllic spots, but this is going to be our home and we'll be living in it day to day, so there is no packing up and going home. We do need to make sure that we've got a plan in place and we're prepared for every scenario that comes along, and there's going to be others that show up when we'd least expect it that we'll have to deal with. For now, that's the plan is to get out of the house by the end of September, living in the van by probably mid-September, parked in the driveway, and just adjusting that first couple of weeks. And then we'll head north up until Christmas time this year. We'll just be poking around sort of southeast Queensland, Fraser Island, do a bit of fishing, then back to Boona for Christmas with family. And then we'll probably look at heading west, depending on what the weather situation's like after Christmas, how hot it is out west, how wet it is, whether we go west or we come back to the coast. So we've got a sort of a 3-month plan. That's what I'm thinking. If we can plan 3 months in advance, that's all we need to look at, because a lot can happen in 3 months and you never know what the weather's going to do or where you need to be in 3 months time. So that's a basic plan to get started and just to adjust and transition into that caravan life. So with preparing the van and the ute, we always keep them up to date with their servicing and maintenance. So everything will be freshly serviced before we do hit the road. And yeah, there's going to be a yearly servicing, which I can do most of that. There'll be times where we do have to book the ute in to get a full service or any other repairs done, and same with the caravan. But I'll try and do a lot of that myself, and that keeps the cost down as well. But there will be times where that will need to go to a proper service place and get looked at. But for now, to hit the road, it's the same as any other weekend away. Always make sure everything's maintained before we hit the road, whether we're only going an hour away or 6 hours away. We make sure everything's serviced and ready to go and safe. So like I said before, putting stuff into storage and what we're actually going to keep. We've only got a 16-foot caravan, which doesn't give you a lot of space and doesn't allow much in the way of weight when you've got full water tanks and gas bottles. A couple 100 kilos of clothes and bits and pieces, plus your food, that all adds up to put us just under our legal weight. We've got a fair idea where our weights sit and what we can and can't take, so we'll be taking the bare minimum. I've heard a lot of others out there say that they head off taking everything that they think they're going to need, and in 12 months time it hasn't been touched, so then they're chucking it out. I'm of the thinking that you only take what you need, and us getting away every second weekend on different camping trips, we know what we need and what we don't. So that's where we're at. We only take what we need. There'll be a lot of stuff go to the dump or get sold or donated to Vinnie's or Lifeline and that type of thing. The stuff that goes in the caravan is what we need to live day to day. So not taking all the excess stuff, taking up room in a small space, plus adding all that weight. The weight of the van, the weight of the ute, which we're going to be fully loaded. Only got a D-Max, we don't have a big American truck or anything, or an Isuzu to cart everything around with us. It'd be nice, but the D-Max and the 16-foot van, that's going to be our life, and we've lived out of it for a week or 2 weeks here and there, quite comfortably as it is. We're all set up, so no need to take all the excess stuff. And once we are out there on the road, it's about being prepared, not just for all scenarios. Well, it is, but those scenarios include the weather, which means summer storms, possible cyclones, knowing what to do in those situations and being prepared for it. We had Cyclone Alfred come down the coast this year, and I know a lot of other people out there travelling were going inland or in the opposite direction of where the cyclone was, and that's what we'll be looking at as well. If the weather's going to be that bad, we just move on and move out of its way. You can't help the weather sometimes, flooding and that type of thing. I'm always keeping an eye on the weather, so we'll have a plan and know exactly where we need to be. You get those rainy days or wet weeks, yeah, we'll just ride that out. We'll kick back, take it easy, what else can you do? Sit back and just enjoy life, even though it's raining. All you can do is ride it out. That happens when you're sitting at home and it rains for 2 weeks as well, and you can't work if you work outside. Same thing, it's just the different location where you're based, and if it's going to rain, it's going to rain. There's nothing you can do about it, but being prepared and catching that water off your awning to fill your water tanks, that's the go. That's thinking ahead. The big question is, how are we funding this? It's not about funding it. We don't have a house to sell. We've got no other big assets to sell. We're not going to leave here with a heap of money in the bank. We don't have a lot of savings, but all I'll say is we've got enough to get us through the first 6 months. And the way I look at it is, if you wait until you have the money that you can afford to do it, you might never do it. And the way life is, it's too short. It might never get to happen, so just make it happen. If you wait until you have the money, it may never happen. So all I can say is, if you're on the edge or sitting on the fence of thinking should we or shouldn't we, take the leap like we are and tag along on our journey and just see how we're going about it. We're definitely not well off, and we're just going to make it happen, and we will be parking up and working our way around Australia, but in no rush to do it. If we find a job for 2 months or 3 months, we'll park up, we'll find somewhere of reasonably priced campsite or private property somewhere, and we'll just work and make that money so that we can travel again. But that's the plan financially. Unless you know what the winning lotto numbers are for next week, drop those in the comments so we don't have to struggle financially to fund our trip around Australia. Yes, thanks guys. So that's basically where we're at, the financial side of things. I know there's others out there that are doing it fairly cheap. We've set a basic budget allowing about $700 a week, which is doing things on the cheap. That includes a lot of free camping. I know that's at the bottom end of the scale after seeing some of the numbers that others are spending travelling Australia, which is more realistic, but for now we're happy just to live the simple life, still have good food, but look at those cheaper camping options and the free camps to save some dollars there where we can. There's a lot more to life than money. That's what I've come to realise in the last few years. You got to enjoy life, be stress-free, even though when it comes to money a lot of people stress about it, and I do, I know Mandy does, but there's a lot more to life, people, than money. So just get out there and enjoy what you want to do, whether it's living in a caravan, travelling for 6 months, just go and do it. And the financial side of things will sort itself out one way or another. So we're definitely open to any help or tips on packing up your life. I know there's a lot of people out there who have done it. They've rented their houses out once they've left on their big lap of Australia and that type of thing, so they've always got a base to come back to. That's not going to be us. In no way we've got a base to come back to. We've got a few options and places to park up if need be, and we needed to come back to Brisbane. We're definitely open to taking any advice or listening to any experiences that anybody's had out there, so please let us know, and we'll be very appreciative of any information that we can get. We think we've covered it all. We've got a diary full of stuff here already so that we don't lose track of where we're at. Already starting to make bookings for campsites come October, November. So we know where we're going there. It's just the next few months of packing up our life and moving into the caravan, which we know we can do it for a weekend, a long weekend, 2 weeks. But when you're packing up to make this your whole life, and there's no packing up and going home, this will be our home. It's a bit of a different story, but I'm quite confident that we can make it happen, like many others out there are already doing and enjoying that caravan lifestyle and living on the road. If you do have any advice or suggestions, please let us know in the comments, and we'll definitely take that on board. We'll take any help we can get. We think we've got it all covered at the moment, but no doubt there's always something that you forget, and it's just reassuring to know that we're on the right track and packing up and looking at everything from moving out of the rental house to insurances and registrations, travelling interstate. There's a lot goes on behind the scenes, so it'll be a big learning curve once we do get out on the road. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you do plan on following along on our journey. If you do, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tag along and drop us a comment and just let us know your thoughts. Are you already out there living in your caravan, you're living life on the road, or a motorhome, a camper trailer, or anything? Just say good day. If you see us out there, pull us up and say good day. We had that recently, and it's so good being met by some of our followers and subscribers just pulling up to say good day, how you going? We love that, and thank you all very much for your support. So on that, I better get back to it. There's a list in my diary that's not getting worked on while I'm sitting here babbling away in front of the camera, so go and finish putting this video together, and then it'll be back to the books and see what's next on the list to do. There's a lot to do in the next 4 months, trust me. We've got a plan, but it is overwhelming. So thanks for your support, guys, and stay tuned. Make sure you do subscribe, because there'll be a couple other videos happening on how we're progressing with packing up our lives, as well as still planning on getting out every few weeks. Check out a new campsite within a couple of hours of Brisbane. Okay, thank you guys. We'll talk soon. See you out there on the road when you're living the lifestyle like we are.